We're back. Better than ever. We're back.
Hey, buddy.
Bcihl fans. How we doing? How we doing, Matt? How we doing? We're back. It's been a while,
Hey,
but we're back.
Reese. Great to be with you, man. Hey, it's been a while. I know. Are you standing up there where you are? Are
Oh,
you
I'm
doing like a
standing up.
karaoke?
I'm active, yeah, and I don't got the mic stand, so I'm just kind of I'm looking like Wit on the Spit and Chicklets podcast. I'm just sitting there holding it up. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. So Reese, where are you? What's been going on?
I am in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, where I was born and raised. I am back with the family. College is now
Awesome.
done. So, yeah, obviously, as I mentioned before, I will not be coming back to the UVic Vikes, but I will be on this show talking about it with Matt. So,
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yep, I'm out here.
So
How
did
about
you
you, Matt?
graduate then?
I'm graduated. I'm done. We're all done.
We're gonna do a Vegas party for you, just like the Knights and the Nuggets, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, hey, that was pretty easy for what the situations were for both teams, but we'll go
Glad
over
to
that.
see you're well, man. You're back in Ontario.
Yep. How about you, Matt? What's the next move for you? What's going
I'm
on?
doing well over here. I got my summer thing is I got a paddle board.
Ooh.
So I'm trying to like look cool. I'm trying to get in shape. I'm trying to get on my paddle board and look good. You know,
Yes.
I've been in my room playing guitar since I was 15, so I'm trying to
Yep.
get out there and get some bring some into my life, So watch out for me coming to a paddle board anywhere in BC. I'm gonna be
There you
popping
go.
up there. But things
Well,
are good, man. I'm working away. I'm going to a class this fall on music. So
oh,
and
nice.
it's only been one day without hockey, but I kind of I miss it. I miss the
Oh,
league.
yeah.
I miss watching the Vikes. So this is great getting together here, even though we're far apart now,
Right. Well, that's the
just to
thing.
catch up.
As an NHL fan for forever, as soon as the Stanley Cup final comes around, there's two emotions. One, there's a lot of excitement because either your team's there or a team that you predicted to be is there. Or two, it's a little dull because not only do you know that it's inevitably going to end, but also, at least for this series, it seemed like it was written in the sand, like by game one, that the gas in the tank for the Panthers is empty.
Yeah.
There's no gas, right? So
Well, I want to hear your thoughts on the NHL. I mean, this show, I sent you a whole bunch of notes about all the BCIHL teams,
yeah,
and we're going to get into all the new players, and
yeah.
because there's some hot stuff going on
Oh
in the
yeah.
BCIHL.
Lots of reasons to be excited as a BCIHL fan, right? Right now. There's so much going on.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got to hear your thoughts on the playoff, though. What was there a moment that stood out to you, or something that stood out to you?
Well, as probably 99% of the people on Earth, my bracket was gone after the first round immediately.
Right.
I had the Rangers and the Oilers going to the finals. You guys
Nice.
can come to your conclusions about my hockey opinion after that. I just thought, hey, this is the way I looked at it. I thought everything that Edmonton is built at right now is kind of exactly what you would want for a team to go to the cup. You got your stars, you got your back end, you got a young young defenseman in Evan Bouchard who's really he's just moving up, especially in the playoffs. He had a great playoff, but
Yeah.
they get through that Kings team. That Kings team put them through hell, and then they gave Vegas the best shot that any team in the playoffs has, and
Yeah.
they fall short. But the Rangers was a huge disappointment. I expected Kane and Tarasenko to just be almost impossible to deal with. No disrespect to who they played, but it's just like I just figured anybody that they would match up against would just have a hard time dealing with Shesterkin, Fox, and all those guys at forward. But
Right.
I was wrong. I was sorely mistaken. They didn't put up much of a fight, and yeah, the playoffs went completely different to how I expected. But the Leafs getting out of the first round was a big shock to me, especially because the Leafs looked horrible against Tampa. They didn't even look good. It was just Tampa looked worse.
Right.
And then they went into they do the "We Want Florida," and then Florida's like, "We want Florida, we want Florida." Okay, good. You want us? All right.
Yeah, they got him.
Put them out. So yeah, so it was an interesting playoff, but I'm not gonna lie, the climax was a little short in my opinion. Why? Just because of how good Vegas was. I guess it didn't really matter who was going to match up against them. It was probably going to be a blowout of that sort anyway. Everything about that team is just perfect. If there's anything we could take away from this year, in conclusion to this playoffs, is if you want to build a team that's going to win, you got to build it just like Vegas. pretty
Yeah.
much just like Vegas. The only thing that you could maybe change is not have all your goalies get injured, even though the Aiden Hill played great. So
That was amazing, right? When Aiden Hill came in against the Oilers, I thought, okay, they're putting in the rookie goalie. The Oilers are they're gonna run now.
Right.
But that didn't happen. Aiden Hill played well, stood tall that whole time.
Yeah.
The thing that stood out to me was Marchessault. In the Oilers series, he got a natural hat trick in one of those games.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And that it's like it's something about him. Like when he scores, it like hurts.
Yeah.
You know, like he just
player.
has the right time to just crush you.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So as an Oilers fan, that guy, whenever he scored, it really hurt. But yeah, the Vegas, everyone's talking about their big defense.
Yeah.
And that's what I noticed as well.
Oh yeah, it was they could play all 3D pairings all the entire game, and you didn't feel like there was a drop off at all. You didn't feel like there was any sort of difference in the intensity that the first two, like your top 4D pairings brought. Like as soon as that third D, it didn't matter. It was just the same energy. Fourth line was great as well. Again, it's kind of there's a lot of repeated narratives about this NHL playoffs, which is like all 4 lines have to go. Look at Tampa. You know what I mean? Look at Colorado. Look at all these teams who win. And even when the Habs went, all 4 lines were contributing. And that's it. That's why it's like with these top heavy teams, even with Edmonton and Toronto, they're 2 teams that they've done their best job, I think, ever in terms of addressing their bottom 6 guys this season, like with O'Reilly and Ochari. And then, Edmonton, they got rid of Pujärvi. You know what I mean? They kind of got rid of some of those more thin guys that really need like a certain, I mean, Pujärvi might even be going back to Europe, so we don't even know. But, so they got rid of all those, they just had everybody playing that was, ready to play and ready to play hard and not trying to outskill anybody, because you have a guy who's going to do that. You have 4 guys who are all going to skill it up, right? So all you have to do is your job. And every time there's been a cup winner, it's been a team with that. Like Keegan Colasar's line, like you look at it every year.
That guy was cool. I like
intense. He's like a younger Reeves who's smaller and a better skater in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me of Coach Dillon with our interview with him, talking about I don't know what you're talking about. Well-rounded, hard to play against, toughness, not like fighting, but just energy, pressure, body contact. That's what everyone's talking about in the playoffs. And goalie depth. I mean, the Vikes, we talked all summer, the Vikes have brought in 3 or 4 more, or it's at least 2 or 3 more goalies, right?
Yeah.
Tavares and Clark and to add to what they already have going on. So
it's a huge point.
So
goalie, very important.
Some comparisons between the Vikes and the Golden Knights a little bit in that way.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, hey, that's something that the BCIHL, and I feel like you just said, going back to that interview with Coach Dillon for the Vikes, he was talking about just creating a team that's hard to play against. And that's pretty much exactly what I'm saying when it comes to the bottom 6, because obviously your top guys are going to be hard to play against because they're scoring and they're in high danger opportunities if they're doing their job, right? So that's that's already a write-off in terms of hard to play against, but you become easy to play against if you don't have an answer for them. If it's just your skill, and then once that skill falters and it's back on your end, there's no hard to play against. It's just easy. They're throwing the passes all, left, right, and center, north, south, all that stuff. So if that's what's good, and if that's what they're going to be targeting in this off season before the BCIHL season starts, we're looking at a very improved Vikes team, especially because after this year, they took such a big step. Past.
Yeah. This year they went 11-8 the last year. They hopped up a few wins, right?
Right.
Because they were under 500 the year before.
Yeah.
And, we've been excited about the Vikes this whole, since the season ended against the Mariners.
Oh yeah.
Talking about all the new commitments. Then today, getting ready to meet with you, I was looking at the other teams, the Mariners, the Red Leafs, the Lakers, even the Miners. I got some notes from some of the players.
Oh, wow.
Everybody is adding talent. So we were feeling good about the Vikes. Like, wow, they're really stocking up.
Yeah.
But it is a bit of a race right now around the league. Every team is hungry to go after SFU, for example, and to have success, have a good program.
Yeah.
So we got to get into that.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, and that obviously, if you're a Vikes fan, it brings a little bit of fear because they were already a challenge, those teams. And
Right.
maybe with this talent being added, it's just going to make it even harder. But you never know. Maybe it'll throw off the mojo. That's the thing about the game of hockey, man. You can't. In my opinion, it's a top 3 hardest to predict sport ever on earth.
Yeah.
Like it's just hard to predict it. Like the Nuggets, I mean, like you just said earlier, it's kind of the same thing as Vegas. When the Nuggets got into the finals, just like when Vegas got into the finals, it was hard to see anybody else winning.
Yeah.
Everybody, I was hoping, I mean, they're in the Atlantic. I'm not supposed to like them, but I was hoping Florida would take the win, but just Vegas was too strong and you almost saw it
Yeah.
written in the stone. And it was kind of the same thing with SFU too in the Bcihl this year. I mean, but obviously way more clear of a
Yeah.
distance between
Depth
them.
really stood out because of how hard it is to go through every team.
Yeah.
Even in the best of 3 Vikes and Mariners, there was a certain amount of attrition because the game 2 ended in overtime. There was
Right.
blocked shots, and that took a lot out of the Mariners going up against SFU. So I think that the Vikes are onto something with their depth. What do you think? Should we get into these new announcements that the Vikes have made?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's check the news here.
Well, I put up a little. Each team kind of has some news here, Reese, that I want you to check out. Let me know if you can't read any of my notes because it's a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so I'll do a little brush over what each team we know for sure has changed. So there's new coaching staff, amongst obviously there are other commits that we'll go over, but they got new coaching staff with the Vikes, so very excited about that. Red Leafs, they had a non-conference schedule, so a lot of their exhibition games, and it was interesting to see who they're getting matched up against, right? Because a lot of those teams are pretty good. New commits for Mariners, new commits for the Lakers, and new commits for the Miners. And you wrote retool here. What do you mean by retool? Are we going to get into that deeper?
Not really. I mean, I just got a couple messages with a couple of the players from the Miners. There's nothing on their social media about the upcoming season, but what I heard from a couple of the players was they might have only a handful of returning players.
Yeah.
So, but they have here, let's just go to the Miners right now. The first player said, I've heard a few things with a couple of KIJHL players being signed. The biggest news is the new head coach. Most of the team will be totally new again with 5 to 7 guys coming back. So they kind of have a retool thing going on there. Kind of like the Vegas original, they're going to have the original Miners, stay along.
Yeah.
So that'll be a pretty new team for the Miners coming back. So again, they're in there building their program stage, right? So
yeah,
hopefully they'll have some good players come over and put on their green jersey with them.
Yeah, no, of course. I'm sure they'd be looking for some changes, but overall, again, they are a new team in this league, so they got some time to just have some rough seasons, see what the league is going to feel like, and get better and better. Just kind of rebuild, just like the Habs are right now.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love those green jerseys too. Like where
They're
I grew
beautiful.
up in Carlisle, the town next to it, 10 miles down the road, they were called the Combines, like the tractors.
Right.
And they were dark green like that. So the Miners, they remind me of the Arcola Combines. Very classy.
Arcola.
Classic.
But
the Vikes, they announced changes to their coaching staff. It brought back some familiar faces.
Which is great. I love it. Let's see it. Who do we got? All right, so they've announced Dustin to go. So 2-time BCIHL top D, second all-time scoring with 86 points. He's going to be an assistant coach. I like that. He seemed like a guy who is good one-on-one. Not that I saw any examples of it, but when we interviewed him early in the season and the way he just interacts with those guys, he's always got a smile on his face. This is the modern game, right? A lot of people think still that when it comes to bringing in coaching or having a coaching staff, it needs to be one big, broad, like scary, loud, almost brash, rude at times head coach, and then everybody is just his pawns, his yes men, and they try to individually help people with whatever they're lacking, or at least let's be honest, call them out, because in today's modern game, it's hard to look at that as a productive way to coach nowadays. People want to be coached by people who allow you to play your game, show you, like physically show you with film where your faults are, what you can do to fix it. Everything's coming, and people might call it soft, people might call it weak. Oh, this new generation, whatever. Sure, but here's the thing: the results aren't coming from the Tortorella type of coach. It's just not. Like, look at Philly. Where's the results? We'll see next year. But this is my point. That's why it's good that they brought in a good, happy guy like Go. I love that. Love that guy, and think he'll be great. As an A.
Nice.
C.
Same here. They also bring back Alex Benger for assistant coach. Coach Josh Koblenz, he's doing the head of scouting now. So a bit of a move for Coach Josh, more of a management role almost, looks like.
Yep.
And then, of course, the returning Coach Cole, Dylan, Cam Kinsman. They have a few more commitments here. Brady Kelly from the Peninsula Panthers. He's the goaltender that he was on the team when they won the championship with Braun there a year or two ago.
Wow.
One guy I forgot to mention last time was Thomas Jenkins from the Predators. He's coming to the Vikes. Now, the Predators in the VI had a really good run this spring. They knocked off the Cougars, and they took Oceanside to 6 games in the final. Thomas Jenkins was he really stood out in the playoffs.
Yep.
He's a point per game player in the playoffs. He's coming to the Vikes. Let's keep our eye out for him. He got 70 points last season with the Predators, going all the way to game 6 of the final. Thomas Jenkins, one of the commits we hadn't really touched on for the Vikes.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's huge. Those are 2 big guys. I like that goalie move. 5'10", shorter than the average goalie, but I like those guys in a league like this because, there's a lot of offense that just flies all over the place. So you need a goalie who's going to be agile, moving side to side. So I've always been a big fan of short goaltenders because I've always felt like it's just been way harder for them. And I feel like that's an easy take. You know what I mean? Like if you're 6'7" and athletic enough to
Aiden Hill
skate. Yeah. If you can skate and kind of sit in front of the shot and you know how to hug a post and you have the basics down, it's easier to play goalie because you cover most of the net just existing. So, that's just the way I look at it.
Well, Dominic Hasek, he wasn't too big, right?
Exactly. So he had to do ballerina moves to make saves. He had to, you know what I mean? He had to do calisthenics to try to make.
Do people know who Dominic Hasek is these days?
If they don't, we got a problem.
Because that was my era when I was a kid. So
yeah,
there's so much movement in the league. Like Reese, you've been around the team longer than I have, and you know more than what's going on. Is this kind of consistent with over the years with the Vikes or the league in general? More turnover?
I'm gonna say no. But as of late, yes. Like for the last 3 years, yes. Like when the year that you joined, there was a million guys who came in that year. Like you saw, like a lot of those guys were brand new. There was obviously a good handful, like the Hermary and Keenan Eddy, guys like that. They were a part of the team last year, or the team the year before that. But there was big turnover as of late. I'd say for the last 5 years, there's been good turnover. I can't speak for before that because I don't really know. But I think what happened was in that, which we're going to go over, ladies and gentlemen, the 2017 championship, building up to that, I think it was a very similar team here and there, commits coming and going, but it was a very similar core where now it's been revamped like 3 times kind of. Yeah.
Also, we're coming out of the COVID era, right?
Right.
A lot of these hockey players are going all over the place, trying to find places to play in their personal lives and stuff. So that could be causing a bit of just a disruption in the flow of things there. Absolutely. SFU, they're going to now they went 17-1 last year or 19-1. So they're going to go up and play against some bigger clubs, right? More higher up clubs.
Absolutely.
The U Sports, the Thunderbirds, Briarcrest, Trinity Western, and Colorado Tigers. That was a cool one. That's NCAA. What do you see about this SFU, what they're doing, Reese?
Well, I think the most interesting thing that could come out of this is the result. Because if it's close in any way, there needs to be a conversation about putting SFU into U Sports. Now, I'm going to stop myself real quick because I don't really know the rules or the regulations on how that would work. I don't know if that would mean, you know what I mean? Like they have to have a certain amount of students at their school or what. I don't know how it works, but it's clear that SFU is way ahead of every team in the league. Like it's really not that close. Like not only with the talent, but also the depth. And I feel like, and I don't know if this is true, but the amount of players they have, if I'm not mistaken, they have a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And and I'm not going to use the varsity argument too heavily, but it is a factor. Like for I don't know about the other schools, but obviously UVic is not varsity, so it's not funded. These SFU is a varsity team. It is funded, so
Okay.
that distinct difference is not fair. That's what I mean. Let's be honest. Like it's really not fair. Like you could just be like, well, I'll figure it out, but I just feel like SFU deserves to be put into a bigger pool. And
Well, yeah, they're going to be
you know what I
going
mean?
up against these teams. Like they beat Alaska last year. Remember that was a big
Right?
deal. I
Anchorage,
think
yeah.
they went to overtime against the Thunderbirds, and the UBC went 26-10 last year. Like they're not a joke in U
No,
Sports. They're
not
good.
at all.
So
Yeah.
SFU is pushing them, right?
Yeah.
So that just shows the level of competitiveness to me in the BCIHL. Because
Yeah.
the Vikes uh, didn't get close, but they had a couple close games, as did the Lakers and the Mariners, who knocked them off once. So uh, then the one I'm interested in is the NCAA stuff, obviously,
Yeah.
because it's just a bit outside of. I think that NCAA could get more popular in Canada in the next little while, like the hockey, because the
It
tournament this
is.
year was
Yeah.
so good, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Colorado College Tigers. That's pretty great. Here, this is from their Colorado College has released its full schedule. Most of the once again, this is from their website. I'm trying to read it, all right.
Right.
Once again, one of the most demanding slates in the country. The Tigers will play 12 of its 34 games this season against teams that competed in the 2023
Oh,
NCAA tournament,
I see.
including Minnesota, right?
Right.
That's like Matthew Nyes, right? And some
Right.
other. So this is like further to your point, Reese, SFU is climbing up there.
Yeah, and not that they're at the NCAA level, but I definitely think maybe what's going on here, and I feel like it's kind of obvious, is they're gonna try it. They're gonna see, hey, if we can put them up against, maybe this will be kind of the last year. They'll, maybe a little hot take early on. Maybe this will be the last year that SFU is in the BCIHL. Maybe they play these exhibition games way closer than they anticipated, or who knows, SFU wins.
Yeah.
What type of conversation is that going to bring up, right? Like there's no business they should be in this league. They're not. Like that's not fair, especially with teams like the Miners, right? And no disrespect to them, it's just like that's not that we're going to see the same result every year, and that's not even that's not very fun for SFU, right? Because if they think they can achieve this much, then give them a bigger pool, right? So I don't know. I don't think it'll happen. I think they'll end up staying, but I I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't sound very good if you're a Vikes fan, or if you're, because there's only so much you can do to improve a team. SFU's got depth for like the next 3 years. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's we'll
Well,
see.
we'll be watching them and wishing them well in
Of course.
these big expansion, or what are they called, exhibition
Yes.
games. Hopefully, some of the teams can give them a run again. Maybe knock them off a couple times.
Hopefully.
You never know. Maybe Eric Clark, the new Vikes goalie, will stone him for a game, or
Never
things
know.
can happen, right? But
Yep.
you're right. The SFU, it could be interesting to have someone on this year from SFU to explain this to us.
Yes.
Like, what's the
That would be
future of the
great.
program?
Yeah.
What are you guys trying to do?
Maybe get that Torrin guy, Nick Torrin, get over here. He's
Yeah.
like SFU, right? So
Yeah, maybe we'll try to meet some people and get the lowdown on that. NCAA hockey, call it the Colorado Tigers. That's pretty cool.
that'll be an amazing experience. That's top level hockey, and like
Yeah.
you said, that'll definitely grow the NCAA in Canada just a little bit more. I mean, it's already growing at an exponential rate just after this season,
Right.
because it was getting big once Cale Makar. It's been big in the hockey world. If you're a big hockey fan, you've cared about it, but the stadiums have, unless it's a buyout or something for the college, the stadiums tend to be pretty empty. But now, for the last 3 years since COVID, it's been a crazy show. People, Quinnipiac used to be an absolute joke of a program. like a joke of a program only like 15 years ago, maybe. Like no way they were going to win anything. And now look at them. They just won this year. Like they have such a big club that they've built up. Great history. Minnesota, Boston U, like the list goes on. There's
Right.
so many good schools and so many good opportunities to watch your prospects just flourish. And honestly, one quick thing that I won't get into too much because I could talk to you about a lot. The OHL has said that they might be interested in getting out of fighting, right? They want to pull out of fighting just like the Quebec Major Junior did.
Yep.
That is going to make way more kids from Canada want to go to play NCAA, right? Because you can fight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the right, you can fight, and it's still high octane hockey, just like the O. And if you're a guy who, because this is the thing that we need to understand about hockey, the pride and the mentality, this Canadian strong homegrown mentality that's been around forever of just being hard to play against, not skilling it up all the time. I'm this type of player. No, they're just like, I'm out there to grind. If someone needs to get fought, they'll get fought. If I'll throw a hit, I'll take a penalty, whatever. Those guys need to stay in the game, or we're going to see the NHL turn a lot like the NBA. Players are going to refuse to sign places. We're going to see a lot of players like, it's just going to be more of a diva league. And the reason why that happens is because the money goes so high and the standard goes so high for each player on the court or each player on the team, that the guys who have the heart, the guys who inspire the Kobe, like the Kobe Bryants of the world, because you're not going to get a Kobe and a McKinnon every time where it's this like fiery mentality plus skill. That's so rare to come by. And Kachuk is another good example. So NCAA will continue to blow up if they take fighting out of the O. I'll tell you that.
I don't know how that's going to go with the fighting and all of the hockey changing, but what we do see all the time that you said at the start of the show, Reese, is the teams that win have similar qualities.
Yeah.
They have teamwork. They care for each other. They're super tough.
Yeah.
They play super hard.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll ever change. Even in the NBA,
right.
It's not like Denver.
Right.
They were tough,
Yeah.
Jokic he's got all those passes, all those rebounds. Good luck.
Yeah.
So hey, the game is the game. It's, at some point.
And,
like,
and
you
you're
could
right.
You could be as dramatic as you want. Like I think of Dubois and some of this
right.
I don't know. I don't even watch that guy, but it does. There's some players that you might not want that aren't going to take you in that way.
Yeah.
Aren't going to,
No,
I like the Mariners. I like what the Mariners are doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's move on to them real quick. Cause that is something we got to get into. So break it down. What do you know? What do you know about the Mariners?
I think did I just diss Dubois super hard?
He deserves it. I hope he plays for the Habs. I love him.
I never hear anything about this guy except for,
he's a diva.
I never even heard of him playing hockey, really.
3rd overall pick, great player, 6'4", skates like Lindros, great release, great playmaking, great vision, great everything. He's pretty much a great forward, but he back checks like a 6-year-old girl who just got a toy taken away. Like he doesn't back check, he just gives up. If he has any disgruntled, which we've seen only 2 examples of it, if he's in any way disgruntled at all with the team, tunes out, disappears on the ice. Like he turns it off. And the best example of that was Columbus, because he hated there. He wanted to leave. They didn't trade him, whatever. And there's literally, you can look it up, like Pierre-Luc Dubois not trying. Like he's just.
Well, yeah, I don't like to pile on guys because you never know what's going on. Like,
he's a great player. He just wants what he wants. That's it.
I like how Evander Kane plays with the Oilers. He's disgruntled. He's a player that people like. I like that storylines can change for players.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's 100%. Why I'm not too crazy about piling on players. But
yeah,
I was just trying to make my point there. The Mariners. Right. Now the Mariners, they have last year they lost, or the players that left. Garrett Dunlop, leading scorer in the league with Wicks. I think he was up there. Adam Morton, overtime winner, captain. For my money, the best D-man in the league with Care Mischief, Cross, Gattenby.
Yeah.
They lost their 2 pillars, right?
Yeah, Dunlop and Morton.
But look at this player I wanted to show you, Jordan Foe.
Okay.
PFOH. I don't know how to say that one.
Yep.
Last
Oh
year's
wow.
in the playoff, this guy's a defenseman.
Yep.
He's almost a point per game, lots of
Wow.
penalty minutes, point per game in the playoffs. They went to 7 games against the Thunder Bay North Stars. That's who won the SIJHL.
Oh, okay.
He's coming to the Mariners. So this kind of looks like maybe the new Morton. He goes,
Yeah.
I'm super grateful to have the chance to continue my hockey career at VIU and chase a championship with this group. So the Jordan Foe,
Wow.
new
Yeah.
Mariners player.
And
And
it's worth
there's more of them
addressing.
too.
Wow. By the way, it's real quick. It's very worth addressing the fact that during the season he had 67 PIMs in 49 games. Clearly not scared. Clearly he's tough. He's got some toughness to his game just based on that stat alone, right? Or he's just dumb, which I doubt. So, I think they might have just brought in an Adam Morton who's tough, which is scary.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at,
Yeah.
Then they also got Braden Frattinger from the Ice Dogs. He's the captain of that team.
Oh, okay.
His stat line there, Reese, 47
Ooh.
games, 51 points, 139 PIMs. So this guy,
Oh
he
my
looks like kind
God.
of in a captain, kind of like a Dunlop, but he's got the who's the Razor in the Churwalk, the guys with
Right.
all the penalty minutes.
Right.
They're bringing that in too. So Brady Frattinger is kind of the new menace who can score, who's going to come up for the Mariners. So
That's crazy.
that's 2 of the 4 I wanted to show you. Do you see the other 2 there? You want to run them down?
Yeah, they got Logan Kirky. He's from the SJHL forward. Humboldt Broncos, respect to that team always. Oh my God, yeah, 40 goals, 49 assists. That's a huge addition. That guy's gonna come in flying. I mean, that's kind of like who we just lose? Who we do? How am I Riley Brown? Thank you. Yeah, he's like a Riley Brown there, just putting up crazy amount of points. Yeah. Jeez. And then they got a D-man from is that Kamloops River?
I think it's Cam River. It's in Ontario. Right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I think it's a place by Thunder Bay.
Didn't even know it existed. Yeah. Joshua Pufall.
Yeah.
He was so yeah, he's a D-man. He's still over point per game, which is crazy. They're getting
Isn't it?
Guys. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter the league. It's crazy. Yeah. So 29 points in 26 games for him. So they're bringing in, a D-man who's point per game, over point per game. They bring in a forward who's a crazy penalty minutes guy who's over point per game. They got a potential killer forward, 40 goals, 49 assists in his last season. And then they obviously got that D-man. So, and that goalie, right? Oh no, sorry. Is that Clark? Clark. Okay, sorry. Yeah. No, Clark was okay. So we got him. He looked good. That's great stats, by the way. A 913 save percentage for Clark for the new Vikes goalie in the SIJHL.
Yeah, the reason I put that there, Reese, was this Dryden Ice Dogs team.
Yeah,
it got 3 players coming to the BCIHL.
Okay.
Jordan Foe for the Mariners, Garrett Rechka for the Vikes. That's kind of the captain guy from Dauphin, and then Clark, the goalie, for the Vikes. So these Ice Dogs, they want to come to the island, right, and chill out, play hockey over here.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. I
guess Mariners aren't going. I thought they were going to take a step back. No, it doesn't look like it. That's what I'm saying.
Unless those players don't translate, which based on their stat lines, it doesn't look likely. So
that's a good point, Reese. How we won't really know that until we see, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it happens with anybody, right? You could join a team and it just doesn't click and things aren't working and you suck. So it happens.
Or it's just, you got to move halfway across the country and maybe Gattenby will check these guys into 0 points, right?
Yeah. Hey, hopefully that's as Vikes fans, we hope that.
Oh man, you cracked me up there.
But
how about the Lakers? We got a few more minutes here.
Well, I'll tell you, the fact that they have Eric Breton graduating, great player. We were saying his name a lot in the commentary booth, so that'll be very interesting to see. The Lakers without him. Daniel Paul, their goalie's gone. Taransky's gone, and Ty Banser. So Ty Banser, I remember he's a big minute guy. He's gone. So
yeah, that was like one of my favorite players in the league, Banser.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was easy to watch. He was easy on the ice. Good skater, good player. Yeah. No, Lakers. I liked watching the Lakers and Vikes games mainly because the Vikes came out on top. But It was great. They were always competitive.
were.
Yeah, they were always really good. So, who did they add? They added you wrote here adding playoff experience and a new goalie. So we'll take a look at that. Who's the new goalie?
Well, that's the one thing I noticed here. I don't know how to do this quickly. KT Walters, 18 points, 10 playoff games. Zach Park, 9 points, 15 playoff games.
Wow.
Tanner Funk went to the final of the KIJHL against the Dynamiters, 21 playoff games. Owen Chamberlain, 25 playoff games. 28 playoff games for Karpyshyn. See, I just saw that theme there.
Yeah, no, good point. Good look there.
Every player that the Lakers seem to add has playoff experience in their respective leagues, long runs. KT Walters, North Okanagan Knights, he's the captain of the team. BCIHL Junior A experience. And then I'll do one more, then pass it to you, Reese. Zach Park from the Coyotes, Osoyoos. Lots of points. Okay. More than a point per game.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Long playoff run. Lost to the Grizzlies, the eventual league champs, a couple of years back. They got a goalie from Quebec who's maybe takes over for Daniel Paul. So I was a big fan of the Lakers goaltending last year. Why don't you take it from there with this? You see the next guy there?
Everything about these picks makes sense to me for the Lakers. They needed these guys who have longevity. This is a team that they have their guys who can do the scoring, but I just liked how their team was good together. They had good chemistry, in my opinion. Just a couple things didn't go well, and that's why they weren't able to get the wins that they, in my opinion, deserved at times. But all these guys, I have no complaints if I'm if I'm on the Lakers. I love all that. I'm a big, especially that Owen Chamberlain kid, 111 penalty minutes in 38 games. That guy's
6'3", league champion with the Revelstoke Grizzlies.
Wow.
I got to practice that one.
Karpyshyn.
Karpyshyn.
Yeah.
Fernie Ghost Riders. That's got to be the coolest name.
It is. That is a sick name. What?
Lots of
Ghost
playoff
Riders?
Experience. Tanner Funk from the Posse, from Swift Current. So the Lakers, they're no joke either, right?
Not at all.
They're adding just like the Vikes are. So watch out for those guys there. Lots of these teams, too, in case you're watching this, they have job openings for things like working the game day stuff, athletic therapists, equipment managers. So if you're a fan of the league and you're listening to In the Corners, you can get involved.
Yeah. Do it. Hey, best thing you could ever do is get involved. It just makes whatever you're engaging with so much better. But we'll go to the last but not least. We still got one more team here, the Miners. Let's talk about these two guys. So we don't. Ooh, so it's a little bit of a mystery. You got a message from a couple of the Miners, and we're talking about hockey players and not children. But so with these two players, what do we know?
Oh, I will not say my sources, Reese.
Oh, okay. All right.
I haven't heard.
Keeping it.
Quote from player 2. I already read the first one. I haven't heard much. I heard some new guys coming in, but nothing yet about the names. We got a new coach. And last year's coach is going to take more of a management role.
Okay. That could be huge. New coach. That might be the thing, right? You never know. You never know with the game. You could bring in a new coach, and the next thing you know, every player is playing exactly how they should have been playing. You never know, man. That's a great aspect of this sport. It's a great aspect of team sports, too, right? You just bring one guy with a brain. Oh, we're going to hit a pack real quick? All right, let's do it. We got a minute left. Let's see it. Break it down. Who's that? John Gibson?
John Gibson.
Right off the bat.
Where's he playing next year?
I hope I'm a Habs fan. I'm afraid of it, but I hope he goes to the Leafs. I think he should be in Toronto. Who do we got there? Seth Jones. He is a horrible hockey player and gets paid way too much. Move on. Next.
Whoa. Hey, man, we're coming with the heat today. And finally.
All right, let's see it. No. There's no way.
It's the way.
Oh, man. What
maybe a
way.
Good omen for yours truly.
Oh, my God. What a beautiful.
Great to see you, buddy. Thanks for the call.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you back next week. We're going to do the rewatch, and we're going to talk about NHL, and we're going to talk about BCIHL stuff all summer before the league start. So tune in. Get fired up. It's going to be great. Matt,
Take care, everybody. Can't wait to see you.
bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks
for tuning in.
Big fat tack in my bag when I unzip, that's when I make it rain.
Call when we run down the